देख बाबा, अभी तू इतना तक आ गया है तो फिर तू एपिसोड क्यों नहीं कर रहा है? फैंस क्या सोचेंगे? तेरे
अरे मैं
फ्रेंड्स क्या
मैं
सोचेंगे?
मैं मीटिंग ऑन करने के लिए आया है, अभी मैं जा रहा है।
अच्छा।
मैं ऑफिस में है यार।
कुछ नहीं कर रहा है तू, तेरे पीछे ब्लाइंड बंद है, तू ऑफिस में भी है कि नहीं हमको नहीं मालूम।
I swear to God,
हाँ,
this doesn't look like an office
कैमरा वो
at
साइड
all.
करके देखा, कैमरा वो साइड करके देखा। हाँ,
ये
और
टीवी
टीवी
एक कोई
देख रहा है, घर पे
प्रेजेंटेशन
पे
बैठ
खोल,
के मैच देख रहा है।
एक कोई प्रेजेंटेशन खोल, बता
वो
फ्यूचर प्लान्स क्या
प्रेजेंटेशन
है।
खोल।
हाँ, और फ्यूचर प्लान्स क्या है बता। अभी इतना बात कर लिया, 5 मिनट बात कर लिया है तू। Guys, if you all want Neville to stay till the end of the podcast, comment right now and see if he stays.
guys, please
How is
comment.
that possible? They know that I'm going to go, and then you'll be like, "Hello and welcome to the internet set."
But then you'll come back at some point of time. We'll split the
No,
editing.
Baba, I promise you the
Why?
top comment is going to be आर्ट और आर्टिस्ट का बात किया और असली आर्टिस्ट निकल गया.
हाँ,
The only
आज
person
का
who
आज
actually
का टॉपिक
edits.
इज अ वेरी बाबा टॉपिक. लाइक वी नीड
Yeah.
योर फ्लूफला.
मैं
आई
फ्लूफला।
आई शट एंड आज के टॉपिक में तो बता ना.
तुम लोग एक
Flufla.
काम करो।
Guys, comment and please tell बाबा to stop.
Okay, guys, comment and tell them to shoot these fucking things in the night.
Hmm.
देख ये सब
This
मेरी
is
अनरीजनेबल
थ्री
डिमांड नहीं
थ्री
करना
टू वन
चाहिए.
है. आदर
yeah.
लंदन में होके एक होटल जा रहा है शूट करने के लिए.
बाबा, द
Come back
नंबर
घर
and
से
वन
say,
निकाल
रूल
दिया
ऑफ
उसको।
आर्ट इज दैट यू हैव टू सफर फॉर योर आर्ट. और तू देख
Yeah.
कन्वीनियंस
Yes,
पे ऐड करता है.
but I am suffering for my art,
हाँ.
which is money. Okay,
कुछ
okay,
लोग
bye.
कान काट रहे हैं, तू एक बस लाइक एक मीटिंग नहीं कैंसिल कर सकता है।
सब लोग कान काट रहा है, मेरे को इधर कान मिल रहा है, फर्क उतना ही है। ओके बाय।
ओह,
ओह ओह।
क्या क्या ओहो क्या, एक मिनट, कान मिल रहा है मतलब?
अरे
कान
कान अवार्ड
अवार्ड.
कान।
ओ ओ
ओह,
करेक्ट करेक्ट.
क्या ठाकुर।
माय बैड सॉरी. कांग्रेट्स बाबा.
ओके
इस
बाय।
साल नहीं मिला ना.
Baba, Baba, tell us, who were you wearing at the red carpet when you won your car?
I was
Yeah.
I was wearing Marks and Spencer.
Oh.
Wow. You truly lit the red carpet on fire because after you went on it, lit it on fire.
उन्हें जला दिया।
मार्क्स एंड स्पेंसर पहन के आया था कान पे. जला दिया है. वेल डन बाबा. आजा
Okay
वापस
bye.
आजा, थोड़े टाइम में ब्रेक में आ जाओ बस.
हाँ ना।
If you want to see Baba throughout the episode, please subscribe to the membership.
I'll put my photo like this only on the episode. Bye.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Internet Set. So, a show we take random interesting weird absurd facts, trivia, and opposite stories, and we talk about them. And if you were paying any attention to the cold open, you already know what the topic is. And if even if you weren't paying attention to the cold open, if you saw a thumbnail to click on this video, you probably know what the topic is. And if you still don't know, well, you need to get yourself checked. So the topic is
Maybe.
artists, museum, you know, the works.
Artists.
Very good.
Artists.
So, in usual fashion, बताओ कौन
बताओ।
है तुम्हारे favorite artist and why is it Leonardo da Vinci?
My favorite artist is charcoal paintings by Salman Khan. Let's just get straight into epic
I'm
art.
sorry, my favorite artist is the brilliant contemporary artist Sidhi Surte. I have all her original works and
सामने बैठी है ना?
और इसके
सामने
NFT
बैठे।
बना के हम लोग बेचेंगे. हम लोग मतलब कौतुक बेचेगा. कौतुक मतलब सिद्धि बेचेगी.
सिद्धि को बेचते।
हम लोग ने सिद्धि का ओरिजिनल आर्ट वर्क लेके NFT सोच ली है. वो बेचारी मेहनत कर रही है उधर रोज बैठ के. और यही होता है आजकल आर्ट के साथ, बिकॉज ये सब रेनेसॉन्स आर्टिस्ट मस्त बना के चले गए और अभी उनकी पेंटिंग जारी है करोड़ों अरबों.
ब्रो, वैन गॉग को तो पता भी नहीं था कि एक दिन उसका सारा काम टी शर्ट पे छपेगा. पता भी नहीं था dude उसको.
हाँ।
और उसको कोई बोलने की कोशिश कर रहा है वैन गो, लेकिन उसको सुना नहीं दे रहा है क्योंकि उसके पास कान नहीं है. एक कान नहीं है, दूसरा कान है. बट
यू थिंक वो अपना बाल काटने की कोशिश कर रहा था, लाइक अरे नहीं मैं खुद का बाल काटूंगा, मैं आर्टिस्ट, और गलती से
वो गया लवली हेयर कटिंग सैलून गया था, बोला भाई इधर से थोड़ा इधर से थोड़ा, उसने कान ही काट दिया. रेनेसांस हेयर कटिंग सैलून ना, उधर भी कुछ अलग कि
You know
हम बाल
something?
क्यों काटे, हम कान काट देंगे.
I am so glad
Renaissance.
that we did all of this right up top, because if there's anyone who has come here mistaking this podcast to be a real
Hello.
deep dive on art history,
then they've not watched any episode of TIS before, because just like
Yeah,
last week's
yeah.
episode when we spoke about technology, and if you guys have watched it, please do. One of our favorite episodes because it has very little to do with tech and a lot to do with everything else. So yeah, don't come for some deep analysis of art. मतलब हाँ थोड़े बहुत stories तो होंगे ही सबके कि क्या देखा है कैसे लगा, but yeah, tell me you guys like I all the kinds who like हर एक जब ये holiday पे जाते हैं उधर एक art museum जाके हर एक पेंटिंग को देखते हैं and like truly like it, or you do it under peer pressure कि यार fuck उधर गया और मैं गया ही नहीं अंदर तो लोगों को लगेगा क्या चूतिया हूँ मैं.
No, no.
नहीं नहीं so I know Kautuk like legit goes like a I go because a lot of the museums are free तो मैं जाके देखता है and like I've gone the National Gallery is one of the
तो तू
best
एसी
places
के
to
लिए
go
जा रहा
and
है.
AC के लिए
नहीं,
नहीं
नहीं,
but
not
you
just
when you
AC.
sit
Not just AC. So
uh,
Aadar and I have gone to Russia together, right? So Russia has this beautiful art
Tolstoy
called,
अच्छा
it's called the Hermitage. And used to be a former palace, which they've converted into this art gallery. It's outstanding, right? So Sidhi and I had gone there. We earmarked one full day for it. And we said, whole day over there, room to room, all of it, right? So towards the end of the day, Aadar gives me a call and he says, Kidhar hai? I said, Hermitage. He's like, मैं भी आ रहा हूँ. I'm like, Aadar, but there's too little time for you to see everything. अरे नहीं ब्रो, रील शूट करने का है.
But
मैं
facts.
बाहर फोटो
Facts.
लेके चला गया
फैक्ट्स ब्रो. मैं जब हनीमून के लिए पेरिस गया, अभी तू पेरिस जाएगा लूव 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 लूव, मैं नहीं गया अंदर. ठीक है,
क्यों?
बिकॉज
On principle.
अरे
अबे इतना
नहीं इट्स
प्रिंसिपल क्या, इतनी
वेरी
लंबी
टफ यार
लाइन है,
क्राउड
गर्मी है,
या
पेरिस में 50 करोड़ चीज और है देखने के लिए करने के लिए. और मेरे को मालूम है कि मैं लूव में अंदर जाके वही एक पेंटिंग के पास जाके खड़े रह गए, देख मैंने सामने से देख लिया है इसको, क्योंकि मेरे को नहीं मालूम कि उसके अलावा अंदर क्या पेंटिंग है या किसके और वर्क्स हो गए, सब बड़े आर्टिस्ट के होंगे, बट fucking when you think Louvre, you just think Mona Lisa, and that is also always swamped. Like you don't get to the front of the line. तो ऐसे पीछे से अपने इसके ऊपर होके देख रहा था, ऐसे क्यों दूं पैसा और क्यों खड़े रहो लाइन में, तो मैं नहीं गया.
I
Fair.
remember this one show we were doing and एक पेंटिंग किसी ने ग्रीन रूम में रखा हुआ था and all of us were drunk after the show and Thakur was really drunk so then we started doing puns with Mona Lisa एक Mona Lisa का पेंटिंग पड़ा था वहां पे and we just went ठाकुर कोने में खड़ा हो गया बोलता है ये देख कोना लिसा and at one point he got so drunk and fell I think
That became Rona Lisa, क्योंकि मैं गिर गया.
रोनालिसा वो नीचे जमीन पे लेटा था सोनालिसा
Yeah, but you know, like अभी मोनालिसा की बात कर रहे हैं, तो you can't do an episode on art and not talk about the most famous painting ever, right? Like people might not know other stuff, but Mona Lisa सबको मालूम है, right?
Yeah.
Like this fucking crazy mass appeal. But we did an experience where they were telling us about the painting and you know like how it. एक तो 18 साल लगाया Da Vinci ने इसको बनाने के लिए. It was commissioned by that forget the Giaconda करके एक था, okay, big guy, and the painting is of his wife. And usually royal paintings at that time would have, you know, in like the proper royal dress. Usually they're not never smiling in their pictures, looking on one side. A
They
lot
had
of
eyebrows.
very yeah, exactly. But इसका भी एक तेरे को बोलता हूँ secret, ठीक है? तो this one he said we'll go complete opposite, and she is literally just. It almost looks like she's looked at you and she's got a half smile, right? And like no matter what side or from the painting you look from, it looks like she's looking at you. Okay, so they said about this one technique that he used. Okay, sfumato, if I'm not mistaken, which is like gradually, like not hard lines, like
Yeah.
it's gradually. So it goes like contrasting colors are there, but that the emotion is very like subtle, very human like.
Smoky.
Like yeah, I mean अपन art वाले
smoky
नहीं, but
eyes
समझो क्या है. And
smoky eyes were invented by Leonardo da Vinci
dude, that painting almost seems like it's radiating light from inside because of the it's painted on this white lead something material, and because of the sfumato on top, जितना छोटा छोटा microscopic gaps है ना, उसके अंदर से light reflect होता है क्योंकि white है, so it looks like it's fucking glowing. It's crazy. Like for me to hear all of that is like far more interesting.
But you didn't go and see it. Like you didn't have the urge to see it in person.
Yeah, I was like, nahi, chhod abhi.
Dude, but you know, that's the other thing, right? Like when you look at that smile, right? People have always said ki it's enigmatic, that you don't know what she's thinking. Was it like a happy smile, a sad smile? But like one
But you
interpretation has been
actually,
raised.
in most photographs, you don't know what they're thinking.
Correct, correct,
No,
correct.
it's you're projecting, but at that, but Mona Lisa, what you said now, it's actually true because that smile is such that it sort of disappears. So you don't know whether she's overjoyed, whether she is like, ekdam halka happy. It's left for you to understand.
Or she's just thinking,
As is,
भाई जल्दी करना यार.
जल्दी 18
ये
साल
यार
से कहीं बैठी हो,
ऐसा.
18
नहीं नहीं,
साल
बट
हो गया
एक
गाड़ी
और
को.
था उसका, लेफ्ट एंड राइट का कुछ चक्कर था, दैट द राइट साइड इज स्मॉलर देन द लेफ्ट साइड, एंड द लेफ्ट साइड इज सपोज्ड टू बी द फेमिनिन साइड, एंड दैट्स द लाइक फीमेल डोमिनेंट साइड, ऐसा करके कुछ उसने, ऑल दैट लाइक मैथमेटिक्स कर रहे हैं लोग बैठ के
ब्रो,
उसमें.
ये आदमी पेंटिंग के अलावा वो लिटरली ही इज हिज रिसर्च ऑन द ह्यूमन बॉडी, राइट? ही वुड
Yeah.
सिट एंड लाइक अपन वो फ्रॉग्स डाइसेक्ट कर रहे हैं, ये ह्यूमन बॉडी को कर रहा है, तो उसका अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ बायोलॉजी, ऑफ फिजिक्स, सो लाइक द वे लाइट हिट्स अ सर्टेन पार्ट ऑफ योर फेस व्हेन यू आर लुकिंग अ सर्टेन वे. सो इफ यू सी अ वेल, राइट, वेल में इधर ना एकदम हल्का पतला है बिकॉज द बैकग्राउंड इज योर forehead, and right, light through it will still make the veil look halka, but idhar aake it becomes darker because it's idhar ka tera shadow aa raha hai. It's unreal. Like when you start looking and you're like, ek minute, ye aisa kaisa kar rahe hain in log? And
So
not
you
just that, like most guys during the Renaissance, they were like, they had acute understanding of everything else that sort of came out into the paintings.
you think there was the equivalent like of what happens today back in the day when people used to paint like a portrait where the portrait was done, then the person would come and look at it and be like, hey, एक और लेना अच्छा नहीं है.
मार देता.
एक सेकंड, रेक अभी अभी वर्टिकल,
अरे
वर्टिकल लो
ये
सर.
बैकग्राउंड
पीछे जाओ,
बैकग्राउड थोड़ा फक वाले
ऊपर से लो,
बैकग्राउंड
ऊपर से. और उधर
इसमें
डविंची
फ्लैश
आके,
नहीं.
ये मैं डविंची हूँ, मोस्ट सॉट आफ्टर पेंटर. तू क्या ऊपर से नीचे से बैठ.
सर जल्दी करो, लाइट लाइट जा रहा है, लाइट जा रहा है, हाँ हाँ करो.
But crazy, bro. Like उसका इतना सब होने के बाद, recent, I think 5-6 years ago, another painting of his emerged. It was called Salvatore Mundi. तुमने इसका सुना? It became a big thing because it was the highest price tag for a painting, which was $450 million.
and none of it went to Leonardo. Can you believe it?
Yeah. वो उधर ही है, पड़ा है किधर, फ्लोरेंस में दफनाया हुआ, या पेरिस में इधर भी है
but
वो, फ्रांस
but
में.
this is true, right? Like the fact that like you sometimes you look at the prices that these paintings go for, and then you realize that I mean the paintings are outstanding, very beautiful, amazing, but I still feel like the prices are a little disconnected from reality.
Bro, it's
Yeah,
become
like-
it's become a little business for the rich.
Yeah.
Right, because
Yeah.
you won't believe, I saw
Yeah.
some किसका आर्टिकल था, वाइस का ही पढ़ा था उसमें. So the art situation, the art scene or whatever, right, by like trading of art, so to speak, that's a $64 billion business, which is twice of what movies and audio sales made in that particular year when they're done the survey. इतना बड़ा है.
Hmm.
So all the rich fuck, and it's a great way for money laundering, man. Like once you have,
Yeah.
and it's made even easier by what Tenet में दिखाया था मान में, they have something called free ports. Free ports are in countries like Singapore, Switzerland, and all of that. Free port is an area where your goods are forever in transit.
What does that mean?
So you can
If they're always in transit, you never have to pay this.
no, and you can't. You can store your stuff there. No country has jurisdiction. ऐसा है. So
क्या बात है?
जितने अमीर पब्लिक हो गए दुनिया में ना, अमीर, I'm saying like,
ब्रो मैंने एक बार शॉर्ट्स मंगाया था अमेज़न से, आई थिंक इट्स स्टिल स्टक देयर क्योंकि
हाँ, तेरे को कस्टम्स में बोल रहे हैं कि ये भर
तो
के
तेरे को
जाए,
कस्टम्स
ये
का भी देना नहीं पड़ेगा. दिस इज योर आर्ट. बाद में वो तेरा चड्डी बिकेगा
they have
1
all of
मिलियन के
these
लिए.
paintings, artwork, everything there. उधर
Yeah.
पड़ा है कि ये मैंने इतने मिलियंस का 50 पेंटिंग लेके रखा हुआ है. So you don't see it,
हाँ
can't be taxed, और तेरा पैसा तू लॉन्डर करते जा रहा. वैसे तो हेल, बट अपने सीन में तो नहीं. हम लोग सिर्फ आर्ट देख
बट
सकते.
एक और है, आर्टिस्ट को मरना पड़ता है फॉर द लाइक दिस इज बिकम
is
लाइक अ
also
थिंग,
true.
लाइक आर्टिस्ट हैज टू डाई फॉर द पेंटिंग टू बी, अरे ये मर गया अब इसका पेंटिंग का वैल्यू डबल हो. मोस्ट पीपल बाय द पेंटिंग एक्सपेक्टिंग कि ये कम मरेगा.
yeah, the value
And-
goes up.
and
या
But
value
by the
goes
way,
up,
you know
plus-
why the value goes up? So I found this out
इसके
because
बाद
of
बनेगा नहीं ना. और
exactly because the production has stopped. So then the
so watches work in the same manner. Like when a watch is discontinued, the value of the watch goes up. So if
हाँ
you look like Rolex Daytona, a specific model is stopped, then it's like the value goes insanely high compared to like what
तो फिर
the
वो
this
हिसाब
is
से नोकिया
retail.
3310 50 लाख का होना चाहिए अभी. किसी के पास नहीं है.
But if you really think about it, Nokia 3310 ka like the legacy's value is very high now
Yeah.
no yeah
as
but
a
this is also true
as
like
a doorstop.
no, but people sell unopened packages of like the first iPhone and stuff for way past. Like it's some
Yeah.
insane amounts of money. Like it's completely
And
unopened
this is
first.
quite long term planning, bro. मतलब तो 2008 में ले रहा है और बोल रहा है कि मैं इसको 2030 में बेचूंगा, इसको संभाल के रखूंगा. But tell me, have you guys seen like any of the like big artists का work like first hand?
Dude,
किसका
so
what sort of impressed you the most from
so
whatever?
I'll tell you a few this thing. So recently when we went to Canada, we did a lot of art galleries in Canada. Okay, CD and I. So in Ottawa, they have this beautiful gallery, and outside of it, there's this giant skull, like a what do you call it? Installation of a spider. Okay, with like you can see babies on it, and it's a outstanding piece of art. So I saw that, go inside, and throughout Canada, we like here's the thing. Okay, like I was a bit skeptical about this notion that when you see great art, you will immediately know that it's great art or whatever. Like you have to understand it or whatever. Like it doesn't just impact you like that. I never thought it was possible until we went on this Canada trip. Okay, we enter this room, right? We turn a corner, and there's this gigantic square artwork. Okay, and the artwork is of this. It's a nature scene where there's water, and in the foreground you can see one branch of a tree, and it's vibrant. And they've placed a couch right in front of it because they, I think, intrinsically knew that this is like you instantly saw it and you wanted to sit down and see more of it. Okay. Now, later when we looked up what this thing was, it was painted by a guy called Tom Thompson. Okay. And he was part of a group of Canadian artists, one of the most famous Canadian artists called the Group of Seven. Right. And we discovered it not because we wanted to look for this, but because the artwork led us there. Like it was just so
Nice.
popping. Right. So when you discover the Group of Seven, suddenly like we realized that, dude, these guys were everywhere. And every painting that we thought was really good in that gallery, all of them, Group of Seven, uncannily.
Oh wow.
So we discovered Tom Thompson, Lauren Harris. If you haven't checked out their works, do it. It's beautiful stuff. And so that was one of the first times I was like you can tell when something is that good.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
just
for
something
sure.
about it. It's an indelible.
Dude, I felt that when I saw the statue of David.
Yeah.
So honeymoon के time जब we went to Florence, and Florence is basically like you're living in the Renaissance. Even in 22 and 23, they will लग रहा है उधर ही है because the way they preserved it, just the crazy history that comes with it. So you can't go to Florence and not go check out the Duomo, check out the Uffizi Gallery. Although that had my head in a tizzy after the third floor because 5,000 स्क्वायर फुट है, 15 रूम है, हर रूम के अंदर 20 insane painting है. You know, a lot of them religious, commissioned by kings, queens, this, that. By the time you reach the top, you go mad.
Dude,
But
Thakur, this is a very underrated thing about like how tiring galleries are.
dude, and you know the thing is, even if you may be interested, if physically or just exhausted, because there's so much to take in, right? So you're confused कि अच्छा मैं देख के इसको अपने mental picture लूँ, कि इसका एक वीडियो लेके बाद में भी देखूँ. So you're just sort of, you know, in this, because अगर तू slowly बैठ के ऐसा करे तो नहीं होएगा पूरा. और
Yeah.
अभी बैठा है 50 € भरा है, पूरा तो देखना है भाई. वो वाला
हाँ
पिक्चर.
वही हो जाता है क्या like a lot of times you go there and you can actually just take a book or something, just sit in front of one particular painting and just watch that one painting at times, and that's like
Like
you can the amount of detail.
there's something to be said about how like your enthusiasm, like how you start rationalizing it, right? Like when you enter, you're like, we'll spend time, we'll observe, everything is going to be beautiful, we'll make our way up and it's going to be great. By the time you get to the second floor, then I'm not that big a fan of Renaissance art.
थोड़े 4-5 लोग को देखना है, 4-5 लोग को देखना है जो किल कर रहे थे, वो तो you can't miss. No, so I was telling you about even the statue of David, right? When एक तो ये ऐसा खड़ा है, ठीक है, ऐसा बुक लेके, micro penis, but तो body देखेगा and just like if you fist your hand, right? If a certain तेको ये दिखे ना ऐसा एक
क्या कर रहा है तू स्टैच्यू ऑफ डेविड को?
अबे मैं नहीं डेविड ऐसे करे क्या कर रहा
Because Thakur, you preceded this by saying micro penis.
है
Yeah,
No,
if you
I
fist
didn't.
your
I
hand.
didn't hold David's micro penis. I was trying to show you that if I clench my fist, you see these
Yeah.
जो आता है ना natural body का कैसे दिखाई देता है, skin कैसा हो जाता है. Bro, he has replicated that to a point where when I found out about this, मैंने वो डेविड के पोस्ट में अपना हाथ ऐसा करके देखा. डेविड की बॉडी तो
क्या
नहीं है
कर रहा है तू
लेकिन
डेविड को?
मैंने अपने आप को किया ब्रो और मैंने
हाँ,
देखा
अच्छा.
सेम चीज.
हाँ, there are certain muscles that come out only when you're in
Yeah,
that
when you
position.
flex your hand, you raise it up a certain way, you bend it at the elbow or whatever, and the way it look on your hand is exactly looking like it's exactly that on a fucking statue made in 1400s, 1500s.
What gets my brain like really warped is there are some paint like sculptures which are like patla satin hota hai na on a
Yeah, yeah,
person's
yeah,
body.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they have that on a woman's body, and you can see like that patla cloth in stone.
Yes,
That's what
yes,
messes you up.
yes. That's crazy. But by the way, I think our first exposure to art for at least all the 90s kids, right? To us till a certain point, you didn't even realize that you were watching a cartoon called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And the names of all the turtles were Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Leonardo, four of the most famous artists during the Renaissance. ठीक है?
Yeah.
The
And the
visual
villain is Shredder,
creator.
the greatest villain of artists.
Which is like like तू पहले बार देखा तब कोई 5 साल का था 6 साल का था तभी थोड़ी कुछ मालूम था फिर एक टाइम पे किसने बोला था आई थिंक वन ऑफ द टीचर्स इन आवर स्कूल हैड सेड that you all must be watching that cartoon. The four turtles are named after the most famous painters from the Renaissance time.
Bro, I just want someone to invent the time machine, go back in time and show Leonardo and Michelangelo कि भाई तुम लोग अभी turtle है.
हाँ,
But do
तेरा
we
life
paint?
का
नहीं.
हाँ, नहीं.
अभी तुम लोग
तुम निंजा कराटे करते हैं अच्छा लियोनार्डो बोल रहा है अभी देख मैंने वैसे भी साइंटिस्ट बन गया मैं कार्टोग्राफर बन गया बायोलॉजी सीख गया बचा क्या है अभी मैं
turtle.
एक टर्टल कार्टून बन जाता हूँ
मास्टर का नाम कुछ नहीं था ना? मास्टर क्या था?
हाँ
The rat. What is
मास्टर
the
ऐसा
rat called?
he was the rat.
उसका नाम बैंक्सी होना चाहिए था
Banksy.
which is segue to my favorite artist which is Banksy.
Banksy.
like graffiti को political statement graffiti को legit art form I'm sure he wasn't the one who started it but he was the one who really fucking blew it up and I studied in his hometown which is Bristol. So some of his most famous murals like the man on the window where husband comes home and he's seen his wife cheat so the lover has jumped out of the balcony wife is in a clothes like that and husband's come out to see from the window and the guy is hanging under the scaffolding
Ledge.
or whatever
Hmm.
and that he's like he's made pura graffiti kya hai, which I've seen in person it is in Bristol. So until then I didn't know Banksy. This is 2007 or 8 and I didn't know much about him. Those things caught my attention then I started seeing more about it then I saw भाई ये तो पूरा फैल गया है फिर मालूम पड़ा मेरे जहां मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ वहां से ही है वो. Dude, the last week of my stay in the UK for my studies they had a Banksy museum Banksy exhibit and I'm not kidding there was a 2 kilometer long line. It was just a line. Like I'm midway through, I'm just asking people, y'all know it's not going to happen, right? Today, मतलब ऐसे स्लोपिंग स्ट्रीट्स है और उसके साइड पे पब्लिक पूरा खड़ा है ऊपर तक क्योंकि ऊपर म्यूजियम है जिसके अंदर बैंक्सी एग्जिबिट हो रहा है. Crazy.
Banksy is such a badass, and it's such a weird irony that the guy who's against a lot of these consumerist commercial things becomes one of the most commercial artists. Like,
Yeah,
he has
but
all of
he
these-
fucks around though, no? Like
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
like I think was it at Christie's or Sotheby's? Like one of the auction houses has his painting that went for a lot of money. So the guy who or
And
the
then
girl who
immediately-
paid for it went for it. Udara, it auto shredded itself. Fuck you. But the thing is, yo, Banksy, what you don't realize is even this shredded thing that you have done is now
Is worth
it's worth even
insane.
more.
It's more.
Even more.
It's worth
This
more.
is
Because
the
it has,
shredded Banksy.
yeah, like imagine that story. Imagine make that person who has that painting, or not painting, but that work of art,
Those pieces of
Yeah,
painting.
those pieces of.
that pieces.
But it's crazy though, like public आजकल क्या क्या कर रहा है कोई I forget with who the artist was और उसका भी millions में गया. His art was he took a banana, yellow banana, and he duct taped it to a wall. Fin.
No, so I'll tell you the story of
What
about
is
this
that?
guy. I'll tell you. So this guy's name is Mauricio Catalan. Okay, and
Hmm.
he is a he's
Let
a
me guess, he is a
proficient.
Real Madrid fan.
He's a Barca fan.
Of
But
the-
so basically, this guy he's an accomplished artist and a sculptor, and his initial idea was to create a banana out of bronze. Okay, which would have made more sense because the thing about real bananas is that they do this weird thing called rotting. Okay, but भाई ने सोचा कि अभी मैं कुछ अलग खेलता हूँ. Okay, so instead of making a bronze banana, he had this regular. He bought this from a supermarket, bought the duct tape and chipcowed it. Someone bought this painting for $120,000.
Okay, not million. Okay, sorry, my bad.
$120,000. Now, here's the thing: they didn't buy the banana and the duct tape because banana rots. They bought the concept. So the instructions were कि तू खुद बनाना लेके आ और खुद duct tape ला और चिपका अपने पास. So whoever bought this paid basically 120,000 and it was sold again for 150. Okay, this concept. So they are buying the.
अबे मैं रोज केला खा के फेंक रहा हूँ. रोज 30 रुपए का आधा डजन.
You're throwing away art.
के बाद मिलता है. सेलो टेप भी है मेरे पास, दीवार भी है, डाल दूं क्या? इधर
फिर वो तेरे को सू करेगा कि देख भाई आई पेड $150,000.
तो ठीक है, मैं बनाने की जगह पे मैंगो डाल देता हूँ. मुझे
हाँ,
क्या
ये कर सकते हैं.
फ्रूट से फर्क पड़ रहा है, मुझे भांडवल से फर्क पड़ रहा है.
Can you believe it, dude? He sold a concept. By the way, so there is so there used to be like art that was, there used to be like religious art, there used to be modern art, and then there became concept art. Okay, like there's this other artist. This guy basically created a thing. One second, let me just find it. Yeah, here you go. So this artist, he is a Danish artist called Jens Hanning. Okay, and one of the first works of art he created was called an average Austrian year income. Okay, now at the time this was
The blank canvas.
no, it was 25,000 euros, which he basically put this money one by one onto a canvas and put a glass this thing on top of it. Okay,
Okay.
basically framed this money and said, "Ki, here, look, this is the average income of an Austrian." It was whatever interesting, so he did a second sequel, average income of Danish person. Again, did the same thing. Now this caught on to the point where a museum gave him 84,000 euros to make another version of this. This time, he made an artwork called "Take the Money and Run."
बाप.
And he basically didn't give them anything.
सब एक दूसरे को चूतिया बना. मैं तो बोल रहा ना, ये सब आर्ट
ये देख.
हाउसेस.
ये ले, ये 1 करोड़ रुपया रखने का और इसको तू अच्छे से चिपका के मेरे को देने का. ठीक है, फ्राइडे को आना.
भाग के गया और क्या वैसे खाली दे दिया.
No, so exactly. So the museum is confused and baffled, and they're like, "Is this really art, or have we been
Just
scammed?"
been duped. But
But
वो
I'm
पहले का
telling
पैसा
you,
तो लिया ना उसने. पहला तो पैसा
Under the
उसने इन्वेस्ट
pretext
किया
of
ना.
this is art, this works.
Bro, तू कुछ भी कर सकता है.
कुछ
तू
भी कर रहा है.
कर
Yeah.
सकता है.
जब तक सामने वाला कोई छूतिया जो अग्री करता है, you need 1 more person to agree.
Yes.
मेरे को वो नहीं समझ आता है. I have never understood like and we make fun modern art. कुछ भलता दिखता है तो हम लोग उसको modern art बोलते हैं. But I'm sure that is not what it is. That's modern, that's most modern, whatever. This ये जो ऐसा अलग अलग कलर का जो
Yeah,
ऐसे बस lines and dots. I have never understood.
So this, by the
ये
way,
पिकासो को बोल.
नहीं पिकासो नहीं करता था ये सब. This is
पिकासो नहीं
Jackson
करता था.
Pollock and all these guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pollock, sorry, not Picasso.
Yeah.
Jackson Pollock.
So CD and I had the same thing. Like we love impressionist work. We love
Yes.
I mean truly like passionate about that stuff, and Renaissance work to a degree, but we don't understand this abstract stuff where like you walk in and sometimes you'll walk into a room and there's like this giant canvas, and on this canvas it's all white except for one splotch of black paint, right? And there's this huge write up which doesn't, it's like, you know what it reminds me of? When people put a selfie of their butt and then they write this very profound quote under it on Instagram to justify the selfie of a butt.
Oh,
So it feels a lot of time.
Keep working hard. Keep working hard. I never gave up.
Yeah, like they'll write something like life is full of ups and downs and you have to persevere, and it's a
Life
photo
is
of
full
their
of
ass.
ups and downs and some curves.
so check out my down and later I'll upload an up.
So basically even these abstract art things, right, they're all justified in the same way, that the canvas represents society and the black splotch represents the rot within society, and it's like I mean I can see it, but that's a
Sometimes
stretch.
art is like the ending of one of those independent films who are too smart for themselves. कि
Yeah,
अभी एंड में हीरो पानी में तैरते हुए जा रहा है और मूवी खत्म, और तू ऐसा बोले खत्म हो गया, मतलब क्या हुआ, तू समझ. तो
Yeah.
सब ना, पहले पैसा भी मैं ही दूं, पॉपकॉर्न और समोसा भी मैं ही लाऊं, अभी मूवी का एंडिंग भी मैं ही समझूं.
Yeah.
तो वो है.
Like and I'm sure like there's a whole bunch of people who have an appreciation for it. Like for example, there's a friend of ours who loves abstract art, and we asked her about it. It's like, what is it like, what are we missing? And she says, well, the problem is that you're looking for meaning, that you're looking for understanding. What you're supposed to look for is just what does it make you feel. So
वही है ना.
yeah, so it's
It
fully
makes me feel
interpretation.
confused.
तू देख और तू ही समझ.
And by the way, this is one of the reasons why like most Indian parents will never want to make their kids artists or creators,
Yeah.
because it's so wide and open to interpretation that like bhai ye sab nahi tu ban.
लेकिन अगर तेरा बच्चा कोई फल लेके आए और उसको दीवार पे सेलो टेप से चिपका है, जिसके लिए कोई $150,000 भर रहे हैं ना, तो सब रोज सुबह को उठ के अपने बच्चे को, ये ले बेटा, ये फ्रूट ले लो, सेलो टेप, वो दीवार दिख रहा है, उधर कुछ करना चाहते हो, भरोसा नहीं है. देखो जेफ कून्स, पता है जेफ कून्स का देखा, वो कुत्ता बनाता है ऐसे बलून से, बलून,
Yeah.
नॉट बलून से बट बलून टाइप से. इट्स सच अ रेज.
Yeah.
It's such a fucking rage. Like when you go to Europe, for example, and you're visiting, एक तो तेरे regular classical painting, Renaissance art, ये सब है. But then nowadays you have a lot more other museums, like for example, Moko Museum, right, which focuses a lot on not just Banksy but art, not which is just painted. It could be light stuff. Like you're in a house of mirrors with a certain light and this, and then that is like live art, installations and stuff like that. I've started really liking those. So if you've never been to, you should definitely check out Moko, and there's one called Next.
एक एग्जीबिशन लगा था यहाँ पे with like a room which is the immersive art, which is Van Gogh के सारा पेंटिंग्स ऐसे
immersive art, that's the word, correct.
स्क्रीन्स पे ऐसे करके वैन गो का पेंटिंग का वो है. तो मेरा एक दोस्त गई वहां पे 25 पाउंड देके. हम लाइक कैसा था, बोलते मैं 25 पाउंड स्क्रीन सेवर देखने के लिए थी.
वो भी है. मैंने कहा ना, अटेलियर दे लुमियर करके एक है, ठीक है, ये पेरिस में था, which is again works of famous artists, but it's a AV immersive experience. So it's in a giant mill, big walls, art is projected with certain music attached to it. It's a very different way of enjoying your classical paintings, but in a different format. मजा आता है.
Yeah, like by the way, one thing worth bringing up is I feel like when we were walking through these museums, right, there is one thing about art, and I mean this is true not just for like visual arts, it's also true for any kind of art that you experience, which is that if you're in the right state of mind and you're there to kind of let it pass through you, it reaches places that you've not experienced or you don't acknowledge a lot of times in life. Like in the sense that it does make you a little more introspective. It does make you a little calmer, a little bit more like sort of like perceptive to the ways of seeing things differently, to the ways of experiencing things differently, of seeing different types of sort of like the way that other people see the world, more empathetic and broader minded. It's a very interesting experience, and it's one of the joys of experiencing art in that way. So fully worth it. However, having said that, one other thing to mention is I think it takes time for people to get to that understanding of art. What I mean is, when we were in these museums in Canada, a lot of times we would see parents who have come to the art gallery with their kids, right? And the parents are gobsmacked. They're like, "Oh my God, it's an original Monet. My God, it's what it is. This is amazing." And they're trying to make the kid see it. And the kid is just, "Oh, it's okay. I just चलना."
Bro, मैंने इतने बच्चों को जमीन पे सोते हुए देखा है ना म्यूजियम्स में,
Best.
ठीक है, दे डोंट गिव अ फक। उधर सामने डाविंची का पेंटिंग है, लोग ये कर रहे हैं, एक बच्चा जमीन पे ऐसे बोला, फक यू, फक डाविंची, फक रेनेसांस, मैं सो रहा हूँ। वो लेट गया है, ठीक है।
And
उसका जब
And
बड़ा होएगा
trust me,
उसको फोटोज दिखाएंगे।
मैं
हाँ।
उसको देखा ना, मेरा इतना मन किया कि भाई मैं भी लेटेश तेरे साथ, लेकिन मैं लेटूंगा तो इट बी फ्राउंड अपॉन। मैं नहीं लेट सकता, मैं थक गया हूँ। मेरे को अच्छा लगा आर्ट, लेकिन मैं थक गया हूँ। मेरे आंखें थक गई है, मेरे पैर थक गए, मेरे को लेटना है तेरे साथ। तेरे साथ
No,
मतलब
तो
अच्छा।
no,
I
but
don't know.
हाँ,
I've not been to the Louvre in a while. Like I like the
इन अ
national.
वाइल,
In a while. बहुत टाइम हो गया.
usually go
Like
it's
every
but
like
the
Friday.
Louvre is
national.
khar gym khana.
हाँ, it's like जाता हूँ मैं यहाँ पे 2 घंटे का ट्रेन है. तो I like the National Gallery because वहाँ पे क्या they've got these old like really nice couches everywhere.
Yeah,
With a proper like old school, and you can sit in the corner of a couch and pass out and nobody cares,
bro.
which is
I get scared about
actually
passing
I'm
out, you know, when
sleeping.
you have immersive art where they have like the light going like that, or एकदम मस्त ऐसे binaural beats type बज रहे हैं, and you know you can sit and experience it. एक दो बार तो सोएश
Oish.
सोएश सोएश सोएश।
So the thing about these kids also, right, is that that's when you realize how subjective art is, because उसके सामने literally Monet था, like it was one of beautiful Monets, okay, and you could see on this kid's face कि kid just wants to see Peppa Pig. That
Yeah.
is real art. Like हटा ये सब होने बिने हट.
But that's the thing, right?
पेरेंट्स
It's appealing to your. Oh, sorry.
पेरेंट्स दिखाए मोने, बच्चे चले सोने।
Sona Lisa.
सोनालिसा। Hey,
So-
तो
Picasso.
अब Pika. Oh,
And
Must.
welcome to this in-depth analysis
Art
of
analysis.
art episode.
so
By
I
the
saw
way,
architecture. Sorry.
no, go for it.
So I was in Spain. This is I went to celebrate 2019 ending and 2020 being like the best year ever.
Oh no,
अच्छा,
2020 एक
क्या
महीने
हुआ?
बाद
तेरे
हाँ,
वजह से हुआ है सब आदर.
तू लेके आया
तो
वहां से?
नहीं वहां से मैं कुछ नहीं अच्छा है बच गया है वहां से
हाँ.
so we went to see architecture in Barcelona and there was
Gaudi.
this thing called Gaudi. Now I thought because it's ostentatious, really in your face, lot of like gold coming, and then I realized Gaudi हो के गॉडी हम लोग ने किया है शायद.
हाँ, सवाल, क्योंकि जो
We are just
गाउडी करना चाहता
mispronouncing
था,
Gaudi.
जो you've been to the Sagrada Familia, right?
Yeah.
उधर गया. So Sagrada Familia, for those who don't know, is a church that has been under construction for 100 years और उसका अभी तक चल रहा है. इतना intense है वो.
They're still following the original designs.
Design. So they have a lot of Gaudi's work is in it, right? You know that stained glass, एक उसका एक स्पेशलिटी था वो, कि जब भी सन ये साइड आता है उसने ऐसे कलर यूज किए जिससे ऐसा कुछ आएगा, फिर वो साइड जब भी जाके मून हो रहा है तो मून से अलग कुछ आएगा, ये सब, ठीक है. Hey, I can do it, Gaudi. And when you see it, it's insane to imagine. तो वो टाइम पे बैठ के कैसे सोचो, कैसे मालूम पड़ा ये कि ये कैसे करना है या क्यों करना है. Like I don't know if I told this story, but the Duomo in Florence, it is one of the tallest freestanding domes in all of Europe. And the guy who was given to make it didn't know or didn't have prior experience in making that a fucking dome that high, which is freestanding.
अरे ठाकुर, fake it till you make it.
Bro,
Fake it
और
till you
बना
make
दिया
it. आता है,
लेकिन अबे बना दिया.
अरे आता है, अरे आप
I
कमीशन
forgot
तो
the
दो.
story of how he did.
सर
but
कितना बन जाएगा? हाँ बन जाएगा सर. कितना कितना टाइम? अरे बन जाएगा, आप वरी मत करो.
ये अपने इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्टर. हाँ, एक डोम बनाना है फ्लोरेंस में, फ्री स्टैंडिंग चाहिए, बीच में कुछ पोल नहीं चाहिए. हाँ, हो जाएगा सर.
हाँ सर,
पहले
सबको
कभी
फ्री
बनाया?
मिलेगा वहां पे. यू
हाँ
कैन
हाँ
स्टैंड
सर.
देयर फॉर फ्री.
सर बनाया उधर, वो रफीक ने वो किया था, वो संदीप ने वो किया है, तो उन लोगों को बुला दूंगा, कर देंगे. अपने लड़के लोग सही है.
इलियास, इलियास पीओपी मार इलियास.
And the meeting ends with, तो सर वो पहला
advance.
इंस्टॉलमेंट था,
बैलेंस.
वो अभी सामान लाने का है ना, लड़का गया है तो अब देख लो अभी.
फ्लोरेंस की बात करें तो एक और मेरे को बहुत फन स्टोरी है. ठीक है, दिस इज माइकल एंजेलो. लाइक ऑल्सो एट दैट पॉइंट अ लॉट ऑफ द रेनेसांस आर्टिस्ट एंड ऑल वर, you know, they would paint meanings or like hidden messages and all of that, right? About church and state in their paintings, right? So they used to always have like thoda issues with law and order. So I think there was one story about Michelangelo um being interrogated by cops, okay, on say one of the streets in Florence, and he's against a wall. Cops are here, okay, he's against a wall. He's got a small knife in his hand, right?
नंचक्स होता था ना माइकल एंजेलो के.
नहीं, वो मारने के लिए नहीं था. माइकल एंजेलो टर्टल थोड़ी है वो नॉर्मल पेंटर. वो बात कर रहा है कॉप से, और उसका हाथ में जो भी नाइफ है ना, his hand is behind. Bro, he has sketched into the wall.
Oh,
Whether it was his interrogation or something about the cops, I don't exactly remember, but that story blew my mind. He's looking at them, the knife is in his hand behind, और stone wall के अंदर उसने ये करके कुछ बनाया है, which is still there, and I only found out about it when I came back.
Thakur, not only have they arrested him for whatever they arrested him for, but they've now added the charge of defacing public property.
yeah. Mikey loves Panno.
आपसे कोई लिखा है. Michelangelo loves Mona.
Dude, he was so pissed with Leonardo da Vinci. Like they were the original Messi versus Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Of the Renaissance.
Oh, but
The Rafa versus.
अच्छा तू पेंटिंग करता है, मैं प्लेन भी बनाता हूँ. क्या तू प्लेन बना? हाँ मैं प्लेन भी बनाता हूँ.
अभी उससे बना, उससे हेलीकॉप्टर का डिजाइन है उसके नोट्स में. Bro, if you've seen, right, when you go to the lot of the museums have like copies of his rough book. ठीक है.
No, bro, this is yeah.
बैठ के वो डूडल वुडल वो सब करता था ना, चीजें सोचते जा रहा है. Bro, he knew in detail about plants, about horticulture, about physics, and a lot of people say that gravity का पहला, before fucking Galileo, Newton and all got involved, इसने ऑलरेडी उसके बारे में उसके नोट्स में लिखा हुआ था. नॉट एक्सप्रेसली कि ये ग्रेविटी है, बट ही हैड डन एन एक्सपेरिमेंट ट्राइंग टू शो like these beads free falling and the speed accelerating and all of that. So he's also known to sort of broach that subject and set a foundation before the other guys.
So there's
overachiever की मतलब
but one
नहीं
of
है.
the
like उसके जमाने में ना बाकी पेरेंट्स बोलते थे डाविंची के बेटे को देखा है. हाँ. वो ये सब करता है. ठीक है.
डाविंची के बेटे को क्या कॉम्प्लेक्स होता होगा यार. तो मेरा बाप डाविंची है.
नहीं, but Da Vinci didn't have kids.
No, डाविंची के बाप को बोल रहे हैं ना.
नहीं, Aadar was saying Da Vinci's kid.
Like
No?
imagine like that's what, like imagine one of these guys. A lot of these guys don't have children, na? Like they don't end up.
Da Vinci was homosexual, so that's why he
Yeah.
didn't have kids. But
know.
there was
I didn't know this
another,
shit.
there's another thing about like the fact that he was so inquisitive, right? So one is that he was curious about the world, but the second thing that people say is that he just used to do this as a way to procrastinate. So he had commissions, he had to do stuff, but he's like, yeah, I don't feel like starting right now. पहले थोड़ा plants के बारे में
Oh
कुछ
shit.
सीख लेता हूँ.
But look at his
वो उस टाइम TikTok नहीं था ना.
procrastination is basis for modern understanding.
Yeah.
उसका
My
TikTok नहीं था ना ऐसे करके.
Yeah.
does no good for me or humanity in general.
Bro, can I
So
tell you?
speaking of,
Huh.
sorry. No, speaking of procrastination, like most of us when we are procrastinating, like or we are trying to like distract ourselves, we doodle. So
Hmm.
have you heard of this artist called Mr. Doodle?
Hmm.
No,
Yeah.
He just like it's just he doodles and he calls his art OCD, which is obsessive compulsive drawing.
Yeah.
And it is, imagine like this entire wall is just tiny doodles, the whole thing. He's painted his entire house like that. Just black, white canvas with black doodles.
Hmm.
And he went from trying to sell his like the chota paintings and doodles to people in the street in London for like £8. Yeah, just take it for free. So now selling his doodles for 1 million.
Man.
wow, bro. मेरे को अभी भी वही stick figure आता है.
But that's what he does. It's just stick figures, but like it's such clarity of thought. Like there's no space wasted on the canvas.
Bro,
Everything is occupied.
there was another guy like this. I mean, very different, but in the
Hmm.
sense that like the way that Mr. Doodle can just come up with like you give him a wall and he fills the whole thing up, right? So it reminds me of this other very very good artist called Kim Jung Gi. Okay, he passed away recently, but this guy like I used to follow him on Instagram. He was so special because what he would do is he had this mastery of illustration. So he would take a piece of paper and he would keep drawing. Just things would just magically appear, right? And so he could draw something from a top angle, a bottom angle, create a fictional character, a real thing. He just had so much knowledge in his head that on a whim, without having to look at a thing, he could draw like the you know how when you open the hood of a car, the bonnet of a car, you know how it's all so compact and like mechanical and precise. Guy could draw that from memory.
Fuck.
You know, so it was like when I
That's
saw it, it was
talent, bro.
outstanding.
You
Yeah.
know, like I would rate myself in terms of being able to draw whatever as a 2 on 10. Okay? And two also I'm being gracious. But in the fourth standard, I don't know how this is one of my most precious memories. I remember एक रफ बुक तो रफ बुक पे ज्यादा लिखा जाता था फेयर बुक से ठीक है तो रफ बुक पे एक दिन मैं आउट ऑफ मेमोरी I was drawing a brachiosaurus, the fucking dinosaur with the long neck. Dude, I swear, थूक वाली कसम, ठीक है? That was the best drawing I have ever done in my whole life. Spanned across 2 pages. ऐसे वो एक बीच में डबल पेज आता है ना, डबल पेज पे मैंने इसको ड्रॉ किया एंड यू नो समटाइम्स यू डू
और
इट
फिर
एंड
उसका
नॉट जस्ट
उसका गर्दन ऐसे पेज के पीछे जाके नेक्स्ट पेज पे आता है उसका
खा रहा है
गर्दन.
उधर से दूसरा नहीं पर बोल रहा हूँ वो I don't know how it's almost like I was possessed and somebody has done it because if you ask me to replicate that right now, I 1,000,000% cannot do it. I wasn't even able to replicate it the next week. ऐसे चल ये हुआ मतलब अंदर से कोई टैलेंट अनलॉक हो गया है अभी कुछ और ड्रॉ करता तो गंदा horrible you can't even make out what is what but that bloody sketch of that dinosaur was so good I'd saved it for 4 years.
Hmm.
फिर कुछ एक घर के इसमें उसमें कुछ में कुछ चले गया किधर आई विश आई हैड इट ब्रो अभी मैं बात भी कर रहा हूँ ना मेरे को दिखाई दे रहा है क्लासरूम आई एम सीइंग इट आई रिमेंबर टेलिंग माय क्लास पार्टनर एट दैट टाइम कि ब्रो ये देख वो भी देख के पागल हो गए चुत कैसे बनाया तूने ये जस्ट
Dude,
नेवर एवर
can I tell you something? One of the things about picking up drawing, okay, and I learned this after I met Sidhi, is that when you pick up drawing, right? Drawing is not just about like your hands recreating something, it's about your eyes learning how to see things. So, like, because you don't understand the intricacies, like you're not focusing on a thing visually correctly until you're trying to recreate it. So, Thakur, when we had gone for our show in Nairobi, okay, in Kenya, after I think a little while, Thakur came back. I stayed behind to go to the safari. Okay, and when I was on the safari, instead of just taking a picture, what I would try to do is I would try to draw the animal, right? Because it just made you look at the animal more intently.
Fuck, that's so cool.
As opposed to just like taking one picture and then chal dekh liya line aage badh. Like it made you stay in that moment and observe it truly and sort of like try to recreate it. So it's a And that's the thing that.
So,
Sorry,
But
just
so you have
one
but
last
एक
thing.
photo ले लेना
you have
चाहिए.
no pictures, huh? You have no pictures from Nairobi now.
फोटो ले लेना चाहिए. मैं भी
I
जा
have,
रहा हूँ
I have.
सफारी, वापस आऊंगा,
नहीं,
लोग
मैंने
बोलेंगे
ये
कैसे थे
देखा,
सफारी.
सिद्धि, ये देख, मैंने ये देखा, ये क्या है ये ब्रोंकियोसॉरस देखा तूने?
No, but
नहीं,
sorry.
जिराफ है वो, जिराफ.
But the one last thing about the wanted to finish that thought was that I'm not a good
हाँ.
artist. I'm not good at drawing or anything. But I think the point of trying to do art is not to get good at it. It's to access those parts that art will enable you to access. Right. So the way to see things is way more important than how good you can draw it.
ये तूने बहुत अलग मस्त खेला है कौतुक सीन.
Yeah, I mean,
इस पे ही पूरा मॉडर्न आर्ट इंडस्ट्री चल रहा है.
No, but it's such a fucking interesting way to look at it.
yeah.
It's a very very cool way to look at it. चल मैं अभी अपना पूरा साउथ अफ्रीका सफारी ड्रॉ करूंगा
बाय मेमोरी.
बाय मेमोरी. फिर तुम लोग को आके देखा, तुम लोग बोलेंगे चीते तेरे को सिर्फ कुत्ते दिखाई देगा. कुत्ता नहीं है वो, लायन है. ठीक है, जिराफ नहीं, चूते वो पायरेट है. क्या दिखाई दे रहा है तुमको?
By the way, so one other thing, okay. So there was this designer called Milton Glaser, okay, and one day in
Don't United.
huh? No, in 1976, this dude, okay, he is sitting in the back of a taxi and he's drawn something with the red crayon on scrap paper. Okay, the thing that he had drawn was a little design which was I heart NY. Okay, I love
Oh
New York.
no.
Oh.
Okay. Now that particular design style started in New York, became so popular that by 2021 there is I love Jogeshwari.
इधर I love लोखंड वाला है.
लोखंड वाला.
ठीक है, जिसमें
I love Juhu बंद कर दिया उन लोग ने because people sat and broke it.
Just like हट. नहीं, we don't love. Bro, इधर
अरे वो बैठ जाते हैं, पब्लिक बैठता है, और हम लोग का एम्स्टर्डम जैसा नहीं है. एम्स्टर्डम में लोग उस पे बैठ के फोटो वोटो लेते हैं, तो हम लोग भी वही देख के सोशल मीडिया पे वी वांट टू टेक फोटो, बट अपना मटेरियल फकौल है प्लास्टिक का, तो लोग के बोझ के नीचे मर जाता है.
मटेरियल वो है. दूसरा, द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम विद दिस साइंस इज दैट इफ द इल्यूमिनेशन गोज इट बिकम्स समथिंग एल्स. तो इधर आई लव लोखंड वाला था जिसमें O, K और H का लाइट चले गया है. तो इन अ वे इट सेज आई लव लंड वाला.
नो नो. लॉन्ड वाला होगा ना, लॉन्ड वाला.
एक्चुअली लैंड वाला होगा, लेकिन
who's to say we don't, man?
I love Lord Wala was also a proposed title for the statue of David.
But like some I loves don't need to be there, you know.
A lot of them don't need to be there. You might love it individually as a person. Say it every day when you wake up. Okay, don't ask for a sign to be made under which you'll go and pose.
I love Mulund. Okay.
I love Mulund.
Said nobody.
Achha. So I one Indian artist, how can we forget? The Picasso of India. He's called the Picasso.
By the way, sorry, Aadar. I'm just saying, before you start, the only two Indian artists we have spoken about, if we started with Salman Khan.
Yeah.
Okay. Artist. And now I'm assuming you're going to the one and only
MF Hussain.
Ah.
Do you guys know MF Hussein's full name? What does the MNF stand for?
Madhuri ka fan Hussain. Bro, these were jokes when जब उसने वो गजब काम नहीं बनाया था.
Yeah.
That the concept of the movie was कि वो उसकी म्यूज है, पेंटिंग है, लेकिन वो पिक्चर भी है. तू पिक्चर को देख रहे थे,
उसका तो क्या स्टोरीज मेरे को
लाइक ज्यादा एक्टिंग थी कि पेंटिंग में ज्यादा एक्टिंग थी, मेरे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. और शाहरुख आ गया और चिन्नमा चिलकम्मा क्या पिक्चर, और एमएफ हुसैन आके ऐसा करके चले गया बिना जूते के. और क्या हुआ व्हाट पिक्चर था, पेंटिंग
bare feet.
किसी को नहीं मालूम. इट्स अ मिस्ट्री. हाँ, नाउ यू कैन.
The bare feet was a big deal. एक तो मेरे को समझ नहीं आता है हम लोग क्यों करते हैं this whole thing about this of India. It's never MF Hussain. It's the Picasso of India. Shah Rukh Khan is the Tom Cruise of India. Like you can actually go like Tiger Shroff, Jackie Chan of India. It's that kind of. We always do this weird thing where we are not
Bollywood, the Hollywood of India.
Yeah.
तूने
हाँ.
देखा है एमएफ हुसैन का कोई पेंटिंग देखा है?
Yeah.
हाँ.
Yeah.
Some of it is insane. Like a
I.
friend of mine,
हाँ.
he has it in his house.
Oh
Three.
shit.
Oh, मैंने टू देखा है, थ्री.
हाँ.
ओड़े ओड़े वो सब बहुत करता है ना.
मीनिंग उसने चोरी किया कि एमएफ ने उसे बैन दिया कि उसके पास इतना पैसा है.
उसका बाप एमएफ का सीए था.
हाँ.
Oh, it's like,
तो
सर ये साल का कंपटीशन का इतना है. अच्छा ये रख ला. अच्छा, एमएफ हुसैन used to do this. First
Yeah,
of all,
yeah.
his name is Makbul Fida Hussain. So Fida
फिदा.
makes sense. हाँ, माधुरी पे फिदा हुसैन. So he used to sit in restaurants and things like that, and he used to doodle
Yeah.
and just hand it over
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the guy. That's like this is an MF Hussain. But
वो
I don't
पूरा.
know अगर वो बिल भरता था क्या. वैसे बिल दिया उसको, बिल पे ऐसे डूडल ये लो.
I want to
Yes sir,
become so
credit card.
famous that I just go to places and I just sign said ये रख, तेरे को ये ज्यादा ज्यादा काम में आएगा बाद में, right?
There were so many of these legends of MF Hussain where because he was just prolific and he was eccentric and he would just do like drawing anywhere, anyhow, wherever the muse took him. So there was one story about he was at this friend's house and he just gets it into his zehen कि मुझे draw करना है, and he draws on the man's door. Okay, just draws one mural type thing and then he leaves. Now what happens is a while later, some robbers came to rob the place. And these were apparently very artistic robbers, like art enthusiasts. तो ये लोग देखे कि अरे दरवाजे पे एमएफ हुसैन, तो वो लोग सिर्फ दरवाजा लेके चले गए.
और अब वो रहते हैं एक 11 BHK सी फेसिंग बंगलो में और उनकी कंपनी बहुत कमाया होगा. बट
you
उसने
imagine?
लिखा होगा ना नीचे एमएफ, इसलिए मालूम पड़ा होगा.
अरे बट फिर भी
How do
यार,
you get rid of that? It's very clear that ये चुराया हुआ है. ये देखो दरवाजा. उसको उसको फ्रेम कैसे करेंगे दरवाजे को? It's
dude,
just-
there must have been at least one buyer who must have been like, सर ये अच्छा है पेंटिंग पर बहुत महंगा है, थोड़ा कुछ कम कर सकते हैं क्या? लॉक के बगैर मिलेगा? कुंडी के बगैर मिलेगा?
But I think, like a certain amount of eccentricity is needed, right? In artists, like some of the greatest artwork, when you go see it and you hear the story behind how that art came about, or the mental state that the said artist was at that specific time. तो वैन गो का देखेगा तो वैन गो म्यूजियम गया, ब्रो, एक टाइम के बाद में इतना उसका पूरा स्टोरी वोरी पर उसके भाई के उसने लेटर लिखे है, ये हुआ है वो हुआ है. It's quite intense what state he must have been in to be able to, at that point.
And it wasn't a happy state.
his self-portraits keep
It
getting
keeps getting, yeah,
progressively,
it keeps deteriorating.
But
In fact,
that's why he
self-portraits.
saw things the way he did, right? He would see Starry Night the way he painted it. So it's like that's what he was seeing in his head.
Yeah, even
Also,
the theme.
also like he's one of those
Oh,
like perfectly like a poster child for the starving artist, right? He didn't sell a single thing in his lifetime, but look at his legacy going forward. And I feel like more than the starving artist, I feel like we should just flip that dude at this point. We should have more poster childs or poster children for the abundant artist, the bountiful artist, where bro इसका लाइफ ठीक था, उसने अच्छा आर्ट किया, लेगेसी भी मस्त है और सब मस्त है. Like you need more of those, dude. I'm tired because it almost gives people the license to not give you money.
Yeah.
Why don't you
There was
look at
this
Van Gogh? He did know, why you can't do?
no, there was this one episode in Doctor Who, if you
Oh
guys watch.
yes, yes.
There's this episode where he goes to Van Gogh, and Van Gogh is being, so Doctor Who travels through time. So before he leaves Van Gogh, and like Van Gogh is being tormented by an alien or something. That's what the storyline they followed. And but he's also got like the mental, he's degenerating, and that alien has left his mark or something. And that's what Doctor Who is kind of like rewriting, Tarantino style thoda. And what he does before leaving Van Gogh is, and this is before Van Gogh's cut his ear off and everything, is takes him to modern London and takes him to the Van Gogh exhibit and lets him see people losing their minds over his painting. It's one of the best moments I've seen on TV.
Yeah, it's a beautiful moment. Like it.
That
like,
actor who played Van Gogh, fuck.
Bro, I think they should take everybody. ये सब जितने मर गए ना क्लासिक्स, उन लोगों को लेके आना चाहिए कि भाई ये देख ये हो रहा है.
No,
Anyway,
but Thakur,
just
I
so that
mean,
before they die, they're able to see a glimpse because they don't get to. I mean, like Da Vinci and all did to a certain extent. Like they enjoyed the
और
fame.
उनको टर्टल्स दिखाना है.
no, but this is like Thakur. If you haven't seen it, now this scene, I highly recommend you watch
Yeah,
this.
Yeah.
Just YouTube Doctor Who Van Gogh, because every time I see that scene, dude, it destroys me emotionally. It's just
fuck.
beautiful. Just to see him, to see the actor playing Van Gogh tear up as he goes
Yeah.
through a gallery, watching these artworks that were worth nothing in his lifetime suddenly means so much to so many people. It
Yeah.
is so powerful, moving, and
And he willingly goes back to his time and okay, this is my fate, and it'll end up here. So he willingly accepts what's going to happen to him.
yeah. I mean,
So it's
that's the
like
thing, right?
really,
Like,
yeah.
it's sad that artists have to trade away their life for posterity, a place which they will never be able to enjoy. But that's what it is for a lot of people.
Acha, they but like eccentricity was like the one thing like MF Hussain used to do is his beverage of choice was adrak chai. वो 20 अदरक चाय दिन में पीता था.
Oh my God.
तो
That's
उसकी
a
आवाज
lot of
बहुत
other
अच्छी होगी.
Yeah, and apparently he went to Madhuri Dixit's house once in America, and he kept saying this in multiple interviews that she made him 8 cups of tea.
What?
But it's not just 8 cups of tea through a 6 hour conversation के बातचीत चल रही है और चाय पे चाय पी. No, वो पहला चाय लाई and he tasted it and he wasn't satisfied. So Madhuri Dixit decided to keep brewing the tea until she got a cup that was perfect for him.
Madhuri Dixit should have just said, "भाई ये abstract चाय है तो
हाँ, ये
थोड़ा
तुम
ऐसा
समझ लो.
interpret."
Like periodically she comes with the chai. He's like नहीं अच्छी नहीं है. She goes back in. उधर नेने चाय बना रहा है. ठीक है. अरे वापस भी बराबर बनाओ ना तुम यार. MF है. एक दिन मरेगा उसकी पेंटिंग 10 करोड़ रुपए की हो जाएगी. बनाओ चाय. ठीक है बनाओ तो वापस.
बनो तो विसर्जन है ऐसे.
एक बार
But,
अगर देखो मरे हुए आर्टिस्ट की पेंटिंग मिलेगी ना तो डॉक्टर नेने भी चाय वाला नेने बनने के लिए रेडी.
नेने भी यस यस हो जाएगा. हाँ. अच्छा,
No, but
but he also had a
also,
second muse. Did you know that he had a
oh,
second muse?
what was the second news?
Who he's given like
Self.
3 paintings. Each one of them is like 1 crore each. That was his second muse after Madhuri.
Was it Kunal Kapoor?
No,
चिनमा
it was lady Amrita Rao.
Oh yeah, bro.
Amrita
I
Rao.
remember this now. Fuck, blast from the past news.
मैं हूं ना.
जल लीजिए.
हाँ,
जल
जल
लीजिए.
तो MF हुसैन को मिलके बोले सर जल लीजिए. नहीं मैं अदरक चाय पीता हूँ. कितने बार बताओ पेंटिंग चाहिए कि ये
जल.
जल लो उसमें चाय डालो अदरक उबालो मस्त की मसाला डाल के लेके आओ. ठीक है.
जग्गू दादा MF हुसैन और जग्गू दादा में कुछ का.
Dude, by the way,
तो कड़ी पत्ता चाय बनाता हो.
कड़ी पत्ता अंडा में चाय डाल.
Bro, that अंडा मैंने बना दिया. मैंने देखा.
बहुत टेस्टी.
ठीक है. And नहीं it's okay but I've just the love he has for कड़ी पत्ता अंडा. I saw that reel and I was like भाई ये तो खाना ही है मस्त. और मैं जितने बाइट ले रहा था मेरे को उधर से आवाज आ रहा खा बड़ा बच्चा मजा आने लगता है तेरे को मस्त एकदम.
And it's just egg white. I saw the recipe. It's just egg white. She doesn't use the yolk.
कड़ी पत्ता bro.
bro, I mean, I'm surprised that no one has offered him a cooking show after that unbelievable instructions, dude.
I would kill to watch a Jaggu
They should just make a Jaggu's kitchen, man, where he's just like, तो अभी ये अंडा इधर ही है ना, तो फिर आप वो तवा गरम करो.
If somebody makes this show, I would like to put in like on record that it came up from Kautuk on this podcast. We own the intellectual property
Yes.
of Jaggu. Let's write
Jaggu's
this show
kitchen.
and pitch it
We
to
own
Jaggu.
intellectual property of Jaggu Dada. ठीक है.
No, the show. Actually, we should write this show out and pitch it to Jaggu Dada. We produce the show. We get it like
I
properly
assure
pitched.
you there's 50 people already in line.
Yes,
What
yes.
to do
To do a
just that.
cooking show with Jaggu Dada.
By the way-
आज अपन बनाएंगे स्पैगेटी बोलोलोनेस. क्या कौन बनाएगा ये वर्ड. हाँ बना बोलते हैं. कोई ऐसे आंख पे लगने वाला
कौन है? इटालियन उनको ही खाना बोलना. हम लोग को क्यों खिला रहे?
ठीक है. कुछ लेके आ, गुर्दा उर्दा लेके आ, कुछ मस्त उस पे ना मसाला डाल कड़ी पत्ता डाल चॉप कर सीधा खा प्लांट.
सर बोलोनीज में कड़ी पत्ता नहीं डालते. सर बोलोनीज में कहते अरे चल डाल कड़ी पत्ता.
And it didn't take long for an episode on art to digress into Kari Patta Anda, which basically signifies that it's nearing the end of the episode. Uh,
Oh,
Yeah,
oh wait, wait,
but
wait.
anything else about art you
I
all
have a
want?
fact.
Two, three things. Okay, so firstly, few shout outs to other Indian artists. Raja Ravi Verma
Yes.
cannot go around Raja Ravi Verma when it comes to Indian art. Amrita Shergill, outstanding. Francis Souza, very good. And CD and I really like Sam Kulabur. We have a lot of his works. His contemporary. You can. It's what like it's so surreal that you can follow artists on Instagram and you don't know whether they're going to end up as Van Gogh or Picasso or whatever, and you're just following them and like, acha hai. So,
Dude, I didn't know. I'm shooting right now, and so I'm shooting with Arun Uday Singh. I didn't know this guy does like legit charcoal like art, like massive shit,
Oh,
and he
wow.
likes
yeah,
legit, properly sells. It's like, no, I'm gonna go back and I'm next 2 months I'm just gonna paint. That's what he said.
yeah. And
It's like I had no idea.
the last other thing that I want to talk about is performance art. Okay, another thing I've never fully understood, and every time I hear about it, it's really funny. Okay, it's very
मेरे
funny.
पास masters. I have a master's degree in this.
No, but not the kind of performance art that is acting or actors. I'm
Yeah.
saying performance art where people do things and it is art. Okay, it's one action based art. Okay, like for example,
Uh,
one of the most famous performance artists is a woman called Marina Abramovich.
yes.
Very famous performance artist. She does a bunch of performance art. Now, in 1983, she and her then lover, okay, they decided to do a performance art where they would start walking from different ends of the Great Wall of China, meet in the middle, and get married in the middle. But it took so long for all of this to come together, for the permissions to be got, etc., that by the time they did this performance piece, it was about a breakup.
Oh, fuck.
तो दोनों एक तरफ से चल के आए, they hugged in the middle and then walked their separate ways.
It shows you what bureaucracy and red tape can do.
Yeah,
To a
to an
relation.
artist.
But वो gun वाला तेरे को पता है ना?
What is the gun one?
So this is Marina Abramovic, and so what she had done is, and like मैंने ऊपर ऊपर से देखा because I was looking at other stuff and like popped up. Gave a gun to the audience and like to see who would want to shoot. Like
So,
weird stuff.
so
Yeah,
the thing
and वो
is,
कौन सा था with like scissors, like a cut the clothes and stuff. वो भी था ना किसी का. I think it's
so
her only.
she's done a bunch of these, and there's people who
Yeah.
have done equally crazy things in response to it. Okay, so she had this one performance piece called "The Artist is Present." Okay, where she would just be present and you could talk to her, interact with her, etc., etc. So someone made a parody piece of it where they put a pot and the artist sat there naked, and on the other side there was another pot, and you could sit and chat with the artist. Okay, and the weirdest one, right? Get ready for this one, guys. So there was a New York University professor, and this guy's name is Wafa Bilal, right?
Wafa Bilal.
And he's an Iraqi-born artist and NYU professor, and he surgically implanted a camera into the back of his head in 2010. Okay, the idea was that he wanted to embark on a year-long project, where he would publicize the images that his camera that was stuck to his head would take. And the idea was to basically show things that to capture the things that we had left behind and to comment on surveillance culture. तो भाई ने कैमरा डाला सर में and was taking photographs. So that's commitment to art.
स्नैप ग्लासेस को उल्टा पहन सकता था, वो एक हेडबैंड लगा के फोन को उधर रख सकता था. गोप्रो का हेडबैंड आता है ब्रो, तेरे को खड्डा करने की जरूरत नहीं है तेरे खोपड़ी में, उसको उल्टा कर और रिकॉर्ड कर. आज आर्टिस्ट बन, लेकिन अपना दिमाग की तो मत बजा.
But like what point I like if you I think Logan Paul or somebody did that.
अपने सर के अंदर
Logan Paul did that.
माउंट है हमारे पास. अरे माउंट छोड़ यार, दे हथौड़ा दे.
Logan Paul did that, na? That's how he got like he really blew up. where he
Oh,
just tied a GoPro to his head, and that was his vlog, like
oh,
going about his day, and that's where he really started blowing up. Where he did it for like 30 days or more. I don't know कितना time के लिए किया था उसने. And then like they would just keep like putting out think Kardashians, but like it's just going out like constantly footage going on.
And
So it exists. Like people have become super famous doing that. So
no, exactly. Which just don't need to drill a hole in your head.
yeah, yeah.
That's
yeah.
all my
Please,
point. I
please
appreciate
don't drill.
your art. It's great. You should do it, vlog it, snap it, whatever. Don't make a hole in your head.
Yeah.
So there are some painters who are active for a very short period of time. Like there's this painter. So he was an English artist, and so the thing is, uh, so it was like his paintings used to go for a nominal price. This is like a working class artist from 600 to 1000 USD. इतना डॉलर में इसका पेंटिंग जाता था. The only catch was that the painter was a chimpanzee. And we have our monkey fact for today.
Of
From
course.
1954 to 64, a monkey named Congo. And his handler, I think the zoologist, and he was also a surrealist painter, Desmond Morris,
Oh, yeah.
noticed that he would draw. And so by the age of 4, Congo had made 400 drawings and paintings, which were sold.
Wow. Wow. And
I
we
guess.
also can't end an art episode without giving credit to another really famous Indian artist, and that artist is Majnu Bhai. And Majnu Bhai's famous painting of Ghoda over Gada over
Gada.
Ghoda.
Gada or Khoda.
Already mentioned Majnu Bhai for this classic painting. Anything else,
Also,
guys, on artists?
yeah, there is a form of art. I'm not finished the monkey
Oh
facts.
shit, bro. मैं हमेशा
There
episode
is another form of art which is called singeri, which is it's art where it's monkeys dressed as humans doing human things.
Oh no.
You're anthropomorphizing monkeys. जैसे वो कुत्ते खेल रहे हैं ना पत्ते खेल रहे हैं, तो this is only with monkeys. It's a genre.
Oh, so they don't make monkeys do it, na? Thank God.
No, they don't make monkeys
Oh.
do it. जैसे वो होता है ना कुत्ते लोग वो
Yeah. So they're painting this.
anthropomorphizing. Yeah. So that and yeah, that's like it's called Singri. Check it out. It's very funny and it's very
Sorry,
like,
Aadar,
weird
you'll
and
have to say it a
abstract.
little slowly because I'm hearing
slowly and
something
a little more
completely.
clearly, because the last two times you said it, I thought you said fingering, and then it said like
Singri.
some monkeys.
Singri. Singere.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
like singing, but with an ER in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah. It's singing while.
Singing while
And just like other art, we let you understand
Interpret it.
and interpret it in any way and form that you see fit. That's it from this episode of the Internet Set. So we were discussing art, artists, museums. If there are some paintings, artists that we missed out on, which we sure we have, let us
Yeah,
know in the
lots.
comments any works of art that we should check out.
Oh,
Will help
oh,
us to see.
yeah.
Let us know in the
So-
comments. Any artists, paintings that you watched in person that you would want to talk about. Let us know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe.
One second. So there's also a few other things. I kept this book out just for this. This is a book by Taschen, which is a publisher, and it's called What Great Paintings Say. Highly recommended. It's got 100 paintings, and they've done a deep dive on the details of these paintings and the art history behind them. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of European art. So if you're into that, then this is a good book. And secondly, Secondhand Stories is back with season 2. So in case you haven't checked it out, there's a lot of episodes. They're all 20 minutes plus. And if you're into horror, true crime, and just unbelievable stories, then check out Secondhand Stories.
So yeah, I have started putting songs out. तो जाओ मेरे YouTube channel पे नीचे go check it out. And this is artwork from the new 4 songs that I've released, and it is made by Sidhi Surte.
Original.
So a shout out to Sidhi Surte Original
Yes.
for taking my face and making it look like I'm really high.
Also, by the way, Aadar, the rat in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is called Splinter.
Splinter.
Yeah.
Splinter and
Ariel,
Shredder.
right? Isn't it Ariel? Ariel?
वो
The
वो
girl.
mermaid है.
Yeah,
April.
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 Yeah. The journalist.
Go watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Chalo. On that note, that's it. See you guys again next week. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, and let your friends know. And yeah, see you again next week. Bye bye. Tata. Take care. Salam ishq.
Tagore, because you did this. I just want to show you this.
Oh shit! वो क्या नीलकमल पे बैठा हो?
Yeah, he's sitting on a Nilkamal wearing flip-flops. He got this from the Lil Flea.
मेरे को पहले लगा टट्टी कर रहा है.
हाँ, वो टट्टी करने का भी बहुत है उसका.
ए, कौतुक एंड करना एपिसोड बात करते जा रहे हैं अपन.